And yet the global economy is in mortal danger because of a company that no one has ever heard of before. If you see the two videos before this one, U.S. Admiral warning that U.S. has to be put on alert because China will invade Taiwan this year, he claims. And this company has to do with Taiwan. Trillions of dollars worth of economic activity associated with this company. On a tiny island off the coast of China, a company manufactures a product used around the world in countless households, items from computers to washing machines, and that is the island of Taiwan. Worries about the threat of a confrontation between the US and China, the global economy is holding its breath. That's because there's trillions of dollars worth of economic activity tied to that company, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the world's largest chip maker, as Business Insider writes, having to do with the global economy. So, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the world's largest chip maker. Industry observers say an escalating dispute between the US and China over Taiwan could drag down the global economy, given the fact that no other company produces such advanced chips in such high volume. If TSMC is out, they say, production of everything from cars to iPhones could grind to a halt. If China invaded Taiwan, that would be the biggest impact we've seen on the global economy. This is what Glenn O'Donnell, Vice President Director of Research at Forrester, told Insider. He said this could be bigger than the crash of 1929. And it's worse than a crash. While TSMC may not be a household name, you almost certainly have something powered by the company's chips. TSMC accounts for more than half of the global semiconductor market, and when it comes to advanced processors, that number reaches, according to some estimates, up to 90%. In fact, even the best chip from China's top semiconductor maker, SMIC, is said to be about 5 years behind TSMC semiconductors. The TSMC counts Apple as its biggest customer, supplying the California tech giant with the chips that power iPhones. In fact, most of the world's roughly 1.4 billion smartphone processors are made by TSMC, as are about 60% of the chips used by automakers, according to Wall Street Journal. TSMC semiconductors are also used in high-performance computers. They can quickly process bundles of data and guide missiles, making the company valuable in the eyes of government agencies as well. Oligopoly. As TSMC has grown to dominate the industry, it has automatically become an oligopoly, according to William Allen Range, Senior Advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a national security think tank. He said, when you have a very complex, very sophisticated, and very expensive technology where the barriers to entry are very high, I mean, it costs billions to build an amazing factory. You can't decide tomorrow, well, I'm going to go into this business. The semiconductor industry has its roots in the US, as much of the research and development is done on American soil. Companies in other countries license US manufacturing technology. Dylan Patel, chief analyst at semiconductor research and consulting firm SemiAnalysis, cited Dutch company ASML as an example. ASML makes high-end chip manufacturing equipment, but one of the technologies it's best known for was created in US labs. Over the past 30 years, manufacturers in developed countries concluded that it was in their best interest to outsource the manufacturing of chips, according to Range. Quote, you're building a big factory and you're building these things by the thousands, and you're doing it in a low-wage, union-free country that probably has no environmental requirements, end quote. This is what he noted. That approach is what directly led to the growth of chip foundries like TSMC and the reduction of production on American soil, Range said. According to a 2021 report from the Semiconductor Industry Association, in 1990, the U.S. produced 37% of the world's chip supply. These days, the U.S. is responsible for only 12% of the global chip production. shield or mutual destruction? Taiwan hopes its semiconductor business will protect it from Chinese aggression. Government leaders have called the industry a shield against the invasion, but if China did intrude, disrupting the world's access to chips, quote, the entire global economy would grind to a halt, end quote, said Forrester's O'Donnell. He said semiconductors have become almost like the oxygen of the global economy. And he continues and he said, without these chips, you cannot breathe. The effects of such an interruption would be financial disaster, says Martine Razor, former senior intelligence officer at the CIA, who is now a security and technology expert at the Center for New American Security. It's a major think tank. He said we would count trillions of dollars in economic losses. The U.S. National Security Council agrees, and in July, the Commerce Secretary said America would face a deep and immediate recession if its businesses no longer had access to these chips. Some experts speculate that in the event of an invasion, the chip manufacturing facilities would be deliberately destroyed, and China would not be able to access them. In an article the U.S. Army Journal published in December, academic Jared McKinney described this strategy as, quote, the broken nest, end quote. Another way of putting it is mutually assured destruction. This is by Banking News Greece, and I've translated this for you from a Greek article. So does that mean that the U.S. will protect Taiwan just because of the chip manufacturing and because of the fact that if that production is stopped, it would be trillions of dollars of loss for the U.S.? Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.